To be Wiccan is a way of life. And it's time we learned how. Join the Scarlet Witch on a journey into magic and learn the true meaning of witchcraft as we enter the Witch's Closet with Scarlet Witch.
Let's turn this down. Good evening all. I hope we are all well. There we go. Let me go on to here. Hello, Kate. How are we? I'm joined by Ben this evening, but this way. This way. I'm not going to lie, I'm a wee bit nervous for this one.
Hello. Lou's here as well.
Hi, Lou.
Why are you nervous that I'm here?
Your knowledge is just so extensive. Like, extensive. Is that even a extent? Extent. Your knowledge is so extent.
Hang on. Let me just pop his head before it gets too big.
It'll be good. It'll be cool. Right, let's say hello to some people. Wandering Willow. Hello, my lovely. Lorraine's on. Hello. Kate's put hello, Dark Lord. I presume she's talking to you on that one. And Dave as well. Evening, Ben and Frida. And Kate, hello, Dark Lady. Oh, right. I'm absolutely knackered. Okay.
Relax.
I'm exhausted. It doesn't help. I'm absolutely exhausted. I have been flat out like a badger on a bypass, honestly. Oh, so drained. So drained.
My apologies for the coughing, guys. I've been at work. So
Right. Anyway, hope everybody's well. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, I am going to be talking about just 5 of the most common misconceptions we get about Wicca, and also sigils and how to create sigils and activate sigils and charge sigils, witch sigils. So yes, that'll be fun. Quick disclaimer, I always do a disclaimer beforehand. Obviously this is just the way I do things. We are not here to slate anybody or anybody's beliefs or religions, just to educate, that's all, and just to remove the stereotypical views that people have about Wicca and witchcraft. So it should be good. Evening, Jeanette.
thank you, Kate. I've just seen Kate's comment.
Ben makes everyone nervous. Now, do you know what it is? It is because you are so knowledgeable on the history of stuff as well. But it'll be good. It'll be good. Hey ho. Right.
Yeah, relax. This isn't like a final. It's not a final exam or anything like that. I'm not examining anyone.
You'd be actually quite good at the people that walk down the aisles when they're doing exams and stuff, just watching over the shoulders to make sure that nobody's like cheating in the exams. You'd be quite good at that, I reckon. You have like a calming presence about you, and Lou does, but also calming, but you never know what you're going to come out with, that sort of. Oh dear. Right. I'm waffling. Right. I need caffeine. Okay. So, as I said, this is not a show to spread hate to anybody's particular beliefs, religion, anyone who's had these misconceptions about Wicca. Because that's the purpose of the show, is to remove the stereotypical views and to educate. That's purely what it is, purely to educate. So these are some of the stereotypical questions or opinions that I have faced, and I believe many people have faced if you work alongside the craft or you practice Wicca. And I've been asked. So let's just dive straight into it. The first Number one misconception. Witchcraft and Wicca are the same thing. They are not the same thing. Completely two different separate things. Wicca itself is actually a religion that practices, part of our practice is witchcraft. Not all witches are Wiccan. Not all witches practice the Wiccan way of life or the Wiccan faith, or whatever you want to call it. Now, although Wicca translates to witch or good witch, it is a very, very common misconception that many have. However, they are not at all the same thing. A witch is somebody that practices witchcraft, and I guess it can sort of be perceived as a sort of lifestyle. Witchcraft is not a religion in itself, but more of a practice. A witch is someone who can understand and practice magic like Wiccans do, but they do not necessarily follow a faith of any kind, like paganism or Wicca or anything like that. Witchcraft is the practice a witch is, someone who practices it. There's so much more to what a witch is, but I'm not going to go into the whole great detail of it. But it also means a lot of people believe, and I personally think, that if you are a witch, people can follow different religions as well. I know there's a lot of people in, I think it's Mexico and certain parts of Africa, they will do witchcraft, but they are Roman Catholic or Catholicism or whatever sort of religion they follow. And that's absolutely fine. I think Brazil, I think they do a lot of the craft and stuff like that as well. Again, they have completely different religion alongside it, and that's just something that works alongside their religion. Yeah. And then you have other people who will say, you know, certain religions, that completely goes against everything that religion teaches them. So it's completely individual, I think, when it comes to that. Some Middle Eastern countries who practice witchcraft, like I said, they could be Christian, Buddhism, Roman Catholic, whatever. Everyone has different beliefs on that. Some say it's okay, some say it's not. Personally, I say they can do what they want as long as it's not harming anybody and they're not forcing that onto me. That's my personal belief on it. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Damon. Oi, oi. So then we go on to paganism, which is pretty much an umbrella term for anyone that practices a nature-based path or religion. So like Wicca, Druidry, or anyone that practices anything like that fall under that term. Or if somebody follows deities, or they follow nothing, they all simply follow the laws of the earth, the universe, and the law of nature. But as for Wicca, Wicca is a nature and pagan-based religion. To put it frankly, a Wiccan is someone who is both a witch and a pagan, and we practice witchcraft as part of it, and that's it. But Wicca is a very non-restrictive path, and in our journey we follow the right path for us. We tailor it to how we want it to suit us and our lifestyle. We practice balance. We follow the power of the universe, the power of nature, the sun, the moon, stars, and that ties into a lot of the traditional pagan beliefs. We have deities, but we don't see them like on a pedestal. We don't like worship them per se. We see that we work alongside them, and they work alongside us. We live by the threefold law. Now, this is where there is a difference between Wicca and witchcraft. I've seen on many Facebook pages arguments that have started because somebody has put on a random post, can I hex my neighbour? He's doing my head in, having parties all hours of the day, I want to hex my neighbour. And quite a few of the Wiccans will come on and say, but what about the threefold law? And they're replying, well, I don't follow the threefold law. Not all witches or Wiccans, not all witches will follow the threefold law. And that's where Wicca is slightly different. Sorry, I've just seen a comment from Damon. Just tried to make pancakes and nearly burnt the house down. Need to maybe stay out the kitchen, Damon.
Random fact for you as well. Do you know who invented the word pagan?
I don't know who invented the name. No, go for it.
The word pagan was invented by the Romans, and when they became Christianity. Pagan is a slang word for anyone that doesn't follow Christianity.
Now you've said that, I think I have heard that before. Actually, I have heard that before. Now you've mentioned that.
Yeah, to be pagan is to be Oh, go on the press. Everything's gone sideways. Yeah, to be pagan is to class as being heathen, and heathen
Yeah.
is a slang word for anyone that doesn't follow Christianity as well.
So it was
Well,
more of a derogatory term back then, wasn't it? I suppose.
Still technically is.
Well, but yeah, if you know the meaning behind it, I suppose it is, isn't it? Really.
Yep.
Yes, the only rule that we generally live by in Wicca is the Wiccan Raid, which is "An ye harm none, do what ye will," which is pretty much the last phrase of that. That is our only general rule. So you can do what you want as long as you're not harming anything in the process. And I think a lot of that is why people are starting to get attracted to that sort of nature-based thing, because they're not constricted by all the rules and regulations of normal, typical religions. It's a bit more freedom involved in it. But yeah, as I said, not all witches follow that law, and many will get offended if you try and mention that to them. We believe what you put into the world is what you'll get back. This also applies to our practice. So in almost all of our practice, we never put anything out there to cause negativity or harm. But it proves that witches are not all Wiccan, as there are many who will use hexes, curses in their craft. And I mean, whether you want to call it a religion or a way of life or what have you, I mean, the definition of a religion is a set of organised beliefs and practices and systems, and the belief of gods or God of supernatural powers. So if we believe in deities and gods and goddesses, then technically it comes under that umbrella term. But yes, so there are two separate things: witches and Wicca. Wicca is the religion side of it, or the way of life side of it, and witch is the practice that we do.
You've got a question.
Yeah, go on. I just realised something. My word or image association with the word pagan is a tapestry of people in their birthday suit dancing around a tree. Is there such a famous tapestry? Oh, is somebody sky-clad dancing around a tree?
One of the medieval pictures that were taken, which was portrayed on a few tapestries, is a lot of people naked dancing around the fire with a devil inside the fire, because they would believe that during, I think it was probably from the 1400s to about the 1800s, people will believe that Wiccans or herbalist witches were said to summon the devil in their Sabbaths within the forests. That's where it all comes from.
There you go. Hope that answered that one for you, Kate. God, I just put burnt pancakes into the world. I hope I don't get them back. You didn't intentionally burn your pancakes, Damon, so you're absolutely fine. Kate's put maybe something to do with Midsummer Night's Dream, thinking about it.
Yep. It was Shakespeare that brought about the image.
So, I think it was Shakespeare maybe that image has come about.
Yeah.
That I remember it from. Von has put, I think you need more practice as a kitchen Wicca, Damon. Absolutely. Right. Misconception number 2. Do Wiccans worship Satan? And is Wicca the same as Satanism? I think this is the most common question that I personally get asked. They think we're the devil worshippers. But hopefully I'm going to answer that one for you now. Okay. So probably I've said the biggest misconception of Wicca. Wiccans do not worship the devil. And it is completely different to Satanism. That's a completely different religion altogether. Satan is a Christian belief. Christianity, the religion, invented Satan. And we are not Christian. No shade to Christians. Do your thing. If you're respectful, I respect you. That's it. In our eyes, Satan is just something that was created by Christianity, equivalent to a Christian entity, I suppose, if you want to say it like that. But Wicca follows the beliefs of the earth around us. In our minds, Satan is an imaginary figure. The reason this confusion came about is because on the way some of our deities look, some of the well-known ones like Pan, God, are perceived with horns. But back in the days when Christianity was forming, they decided to perceive and make their concept of evil so similar to pagan-looking gods or deities purely to make people convert to Christianity. But if you think of all the animals on the earth that have horns, they have no association to evil. So why do they certainly assume that just because something has horns, it's evil? I don't know. But they took our image of the deities with their horns and made it their perception of evil. It's because they couldn't spell Santa. Yeah. But and it's the only reason people see it that way. And it's all stemmed from trying to convert those to Christianity back then. Much like the pagan Sabbaths were taken and altered to fit Christian holidays.
Yep.
Of course, I mean, Satanists exist, and there are Satanists who practice witchcraft, but witchcraft, Wicca, and paganism have nothing to do with Satan. It's what you do with it that makes it good or bad. I mean, there are Christians out there who are good and bad. Just because you've got the label Christian doesn't automatically make you a good person. Just because you've got the label of Wiccan doesn't make you a good or bad person. It's where you take it, I think, that makes the person who they are. But yeah, Wicca itself does nothing, is nothing, and has nothing to do with the Christianity belief of Satan. Wicca spreads nothing more than balance, kindness, positivity, and love for the earth. So if people want to perceive that as evil, then so be it. But I can assure you, we don't worship Satan. We don't believe his existence. And yeah. To try to keep on top of the comments as well. My sister's on. Hi, Lynn's. I swear a lot of the association is also to do with the witch trials in Salem as well.
Yeah, a lot of it became famous due to that, but a lot of it in Europe was mainly to do with the Spanish Inquisition. That's where it all became famous.
I was having that discussion.
Anything.
Yeah, I was having that discussion with a friend today. I mean, their picture of the Satan or the devil, they seem to associate is the same. But nowhere in the Bible does it say what their version of him looks like. And I'd love for somebody to challenge me on that and say, well, it does say that in the Bible, because it doesn't state that in the Bible at all, a description of him. So that was clearly taken, the image of what have you, and created to convert people to it.
Where did you get that information from?
From a fantastic lesson on Friday evening, might I add. Yeah, it was really, really good. No, it was definitely the demonology session with Ben and Lou is fantastic. Really, really is eye-opening. I think it was at that point I realised just how extensive your knowledge is on that, and how much you've studied, and that takes credit to you as well, because obviously it's taken time to attain that knowledge and retain it as well. So, credit where it's due. That King James was a fruitcake.
He
no
was.
mention.
Yep. He was a what we'd class now as a religious fanatic.
King James.
Yes.
Yeah. I blame two people for the association of Satanism and Wiccan. Aleister Crowley, I don't really know my stance on him, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Mind you, Sabrina. Okay. Are you on about the new Sabrina the Teenage Witch, not the old? As Kate's put, the new Sabrina. The 19 one was a harmless comedy sitcom. Yeah, the 90s one was absolutely fine. I quite enjoyed the 90s one. The new one, I loved the new one as well.
Charmed as well. I grew up
Charmed.
with
Charmed. I loved the Charmed sisters. But I did like the new Sabrina the Teenage Witch as well, or the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I think it was called. But I could see why a lot of people would then think it's evil, how it was portrayed in the show. 100% I can see why. Okay, moving on. I heard rumours King James had a third nipple. How on earth did you hear rumours from that? That's a long... he would have documented that, I wonder. That's hilarious.
It's a rumour due to the fact that if you... Obviously, we do know that genetic deformities happen. People do get third nipples.
Of course.
However,
yeah, we know.
If you had a third nipple during that era, you were abomination. You were a heathen demon, and you would get killed.
Yes.
So
Weren't they seen as witch? Wasn't that a sign of being a witch as well? Having the third. Yeah.
It's the same as like Napoleon was short. It wasn't actually short. He was five.
No.
I think it was 5'8", 5'9", something like that. It was standard height for them that era.
Yeah. No, I just wonder why that would have even been documented to have reached, 2023, whatever in now, and that's.
You'd be surprised.
Yes, same as left-handed people. I'd have been killed quite a wee while ago. I'm left-handed. Okay, third misconception. Pentagrams are the symbol of the devil. This is another one that does infuriate me a lot because I hear it a lot. You hear it on films, you hear it on TV programs. But again, this has stemmed from media and lack of education, really, on what it means through fear, what they've been taught. I mean, the pentagram is one of the main symbols used in Wicca and witchcraft. They are not a symbol of the devil. Again, no association whatsoever. The pentagram purely represents the 5 elements. So spirit, earth, air, fire, water. That's all it represents. It represents everything that's basically around us. So we use the pentagram in our practices to keep negative energies away. That's what we use it for in Wicca. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Originally, the pentagram with the point facing up, the traditional one you can see it in the corner of my screen up here, with it pointing up, represented facing to the sky, for representing female energy, the divine goddess, and the inverted pentagram with the point facing down, so if you flip it over, was just pointing down to the earth, actually only represented the masculine and masculine deities, masculine energy. In Satanism, it is used facing down, but they use it for something completely different. So please don't get the two confused. If you see it pointing down and it's a witch or a Wiccan practicing it, it purely is representing something else. It's masculine energy, drawing in masculine energy from the earth. If the Satanists use it, they use it for something completely different. So please make sure you know the difference. I mean, I had you see on the films, I had this conversation with my friend earlier, the upside down crosses and things like that, always in the horror films. And I was explaining, but I think, if I'm correct on this, the upside down cross actually came from when Jesus was being crucified. There was 2 other people with him, and I could be wrong on this, Ben. I'm waiting for the and one of them was, I can't remember the names, I'm not into that sort of thing. With one of them said he's not worthy to be crucified in the same way as Jesus, so he asked for the cross to be upturned. Tell us the facts, Ben. Go for it.
Close enough. However,
okay.
It was his disciple Paul who said when he was caught after many years later, he said that he is not worthy enough to be killed in the same manner as his God. So they crucified him upside down. So you were there.
I was near enough. I struggle with retaining information. That's why I always have to write stuff down.
I do it myself. Everyone does it.
Yeah.
I will tell you though, apart from this is my own personal beliefs. It doesn't reflect anyone else on the other any of our hosts on the other dimension or anyone in the comments. Satanists are complete and all stupid, flat.
I didn't say that. Ben said that.
No, I said that. That's my personal beliefs. So if anyone wants to try anything, please feel free to try and hex me. It doesn't work. It's been proven. The reason they turn the pentagon upside down is because it's supposed to represent the horns of the devil. That's why they turn it upside down. Well, they are incredibly, incredibly stupid. Well, that's my personal belief.
And that's the thing. I love everyone to have if in a perfect world, everyone have their own opinion, no one to be offended. Do you know what I mean? But people are getting too offended these days. But yes. Okay. So.
Sorry to throw that in there.
No, that's fine. Let me just go back up. Missing.
Yeah, loads of colours, aren't
There's quite a few. It's an interesting topic, though, to be fair. Okay, let's go from here. Christina Phelps, The Witch's Closet. I have a question, please. I'm a medium and I get a lot of messages that come through, but now I'm not getting any. Does this mean my gift is slowing down as I age? Let me reread that back. I'm a medium and I get a lot of messages that come through, but now I'm not getting any. Does this mean my gift is slowing down as I age? So have they, I think I need more context behind it. So have they suddenly stopped? Have they like gradually stopped coming through? I would need some more, give me some more info on what that's, has it just stopped all of a sudden, or is it just something that's tapered off gradually? Yeah, let me know in regards to that, but you know exactly what I feel about all of people's misconceptions. I do. Here is something that's really cool about witchcraft that I only found out from talking to a Viking elder. He told me that Vikings used to recruit old witches to become seers within the clan. That's fascinating. See, I don't know much about the Norse and all that side of it, and Viking cultures, but that's fascinating to read that. What's your opinion on Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General? Do you think it was a profitable business for him back then, basically using the churches as a cover to kill innocents as witches for money? Just a thought, 100%. Personally, that's my opinion. It was a profitable thing back then when, was it James, King, whatever, my mind's gone blank tonight. When, oh, gone completely blank. What was I talking about? When the king was ruling and he made it illegal to practice witchcraft, I think quite a few people jumped on the bandwagon of persecuting witches back then for money, because they were paid quite a lot of money back then, what was equivalent to it back then, to do that. And the more people they killed, the more money they got. I think they saw it as cleansing the area of witches back then. But again, it was generally innocent people that were killed.
As was done with the Pendle witches.
Same with the Pendle witches, exactly that. It annoys me that Latin is used as a superpower to get rid of demons. Like, why?
Sorry.
That's a Ben question, that one.
Yeah,
I don't speak Latin.
The only reason Latin is used as a superpower to deal with demons is because the only people that could talk Latin were the church, so they capitalised on it. Right.
Okay. I watched. It was quite a good film, actually. Pray for the Devil on Amazon Prime last night. Have you watched that?
I've not watched it yet. I want to watch it.
It's good. I'm too tight to pay for. If I'm paying for Prime, I don't have to be paying on top for films that are coming out. I don't understand the theory behind that. I pay enough for Prime as it is. So I wait. I added to my watch list, and it came up yesterday that it was released free of charge on there. So I watched it last night, and it was very good. There's a big twist in it, which I wasn't expecting. It was very good, so worth a watch. But in there, when they do it's all about exorcisms, you do see some of the priests talking in Latin. However, there's a female nun, and she's like the first female to do an exorcism or what have you. Basically, I don't know to spoil the film, but she speaks in English, just normal, her own normal tongue. Doesn't make any sense, no. Reciting the Lord's Prayer in Latin is going to solve all your problems. My argument is, right now, Ben, you may be able to answer this. When they do all the Lord's Prayer and things with demons and what have you, how do we know the spirit or whatever it is entity is religious in the first place? Surely, if I passed and I was a spirit and somebody started chanting the Lord's Prayer to get rid of me, it's not going to work on me because I don't believe in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, that's the main thing. That is one of the main things, like, as you were saying, that as you get with Wiccans, massive misconception.
Yeah.
It don't work that way.
No.
No one likes speaking in Latin, for a start. Only people that like it is doctors and botanists. So doing the Lord's Prayer ain't going to doesn't do anything. It's just going to annoy people.
Yeah.
People forget that demonics, as we thought on that. I don't want to overtake you. I'm taking over your show, though. I don't like doing this.
No, it's fine. No, because I find it fascinating as well.
Yeah, everyone that the class is demons. Like, to bring Wiccan and witchcraft into it. Take Pan, for example.
Yeah.
The god Pan was the main god of sort of the European sort of old Wiccan pagan ways.
Yeah.
He was turned into a demon purely because like you said, the Catholic Church at the time wanted to turn everyone into that.
Yeah.
So what makes you think they've not done that to all the other demons throughout their entire existence? So
yeah,
I'm not going to go into too much.
No, fascinating subject though. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Satanists are pretty much old school versions of flat earthers nowadays. Wandering Willow, I totally agree, Ben. I own a building locally. There is an upside down cross hung in the chapel. For what reason would that be for? I'm surprised it's in a chapel, to be honest. I didn't think that they did. Really, they put upside down crosses in the chapel. Is that to represent the what Paul did?
Depends how devoted they are. Most people will see it and you'll go, "Oh yeah, it's scary." Like
because it's in the movies.
You understand it. It depends how devoted it is.
Okay. Right. I'll come back to the questions in a second. Right. Where did I get to? Right. Misconception number 4. Wiccans have a dark Bible or a Book of Shadows. Book of Shadows we do have. However, we don't have a dark Bible. So people ask if we have this one book that we all follow and learn from. The Book of Shadows is individual to each and every person. Usually it's written by themselves and it's been passed down through family members, what have you. And it's just their spells, their incantations, the sabbats, candle magic. It's a journey, a diary of their journey, basically. We don't have set books or guides with rules to follow because Wicca is, like I said, it isn't like that. Wicca is so diverse in our beliefs and also so simple at the same time that we all do things differently and therefore we all interpret things differently. Some will use their Book of Shadows like a diary of their journey and what they learn along the way, documenting spells that worked, haven't worked. Some are even passed down, like I said, through family members of those learning the craft to give them the basic knowledge and the foundations. Some will even have it buried or cremated with them, depending on how strongly they have an attachment with it. Many Wiccans or witches will have many Book of Shadows in their lifetime. And I think possibly the misconception may come from the years of witches having to be so protective of their Books of Shadows through either fear of death, dependent on country and century, and because it's such a personal documentation of our lives. Because it's so personal, a lot of witches and Wiccans believe it shouldn't be seen by other people unless, like I said, passed on after death, or they've had prior permission, or they're in a coven, or what have you. And due to this, many have developed a theory that we're hiding something evil and hidden inside these books. And we're just protective of it. That is all it is. We're just protective of the magic, protective of our craft, and we don't want the books to get into the wrong hands. I mean, Books of Shadows itself, the name Book of Shadows only came about in the 1940s when it was that Gerald Gardner brought that terminology into it. People have asked before, what's the difference between a Book of Shadows and a grimoire? And hopefully I'm going to answer that factually. But they are actually very similar. However, the term, like I said, Book of Shadows was only come about in the 1940s, 1950s, when Gerald Gardner brought the terminology into it. But they can both contain things like rituals and spells. But the Book of Shadows is actually a Wiccan terminology. So a grimoire, by contrast, is a magical book that is not associated with Wicca or Wiccan beliefs. So while the term Book of Shadows was only created in the 1940s, the word grimoire goes back much further. So the term grimoire, now I hope I'm right on this, originates from the French word grammaire. My French isn't very good at all, which simply means a book written in Latin. apparently, according to my research. And by the 18th century, the word grimoire started to be used to refer to historical books on magic. So some will say the grimoire is just for spells and rituals, and their book of shadows is for their personal journey, for everything else magic related. And some will say the grimoire is for coven based, for them to share there, and the book of shadows is for their personal stuff. But regardless, neither in Wicca contain evil workings, etc. Did you want to add anything to that, Ben?
No, you got it bang on.
No?
Very impressed.
Okay.
The book that people refer to, though, just for everyone's knowledge, that everyone has this thing that Wiccans and witches all work from one book.
Yeah.
The reason that is, it's because there is a book called the Witch's Bible. And that's what everyone gets mistaken. They think that everyone works out of that book.
I follow he's not a librarian, but he's an antique collector of books on TikTok in America. And he's quite famous in America, albeit I can't remember his name. I can't remember my neighbours now. They've moved in there 3 years ago, let alone his so he collects all these original books that he then sells and what have you and keeps. And he's got a witch's Bible. He did say there's a name for it. I can't remember. There's like a funny name for it. And he's got one of the original ones, and he keeps it in an actual vault thing. But he's very, very superstitious around this particular book. But yeah, he's not any pagan beliefs or anything like that. But yes, he does have one of those in his collection. So I'd like to get my hands on one though. I would, just to see what its details inside this original book. But yeah. Okay, I've got back to the comments. So misconception number, where are we? 5. Wicca is purely a female religion. I hear that one a lot as well. This is false. Wicca is for any sex at all. And the reason is, I personally think it is quite female dominated in that area. But that does not mean it's for females only. Some of the largest influences in Wicca have stemmed from males. The difference in Wicca, we see and treat every single person as equals. Nobody is above another person. No race is above another. No gender is above another. You're all equal. And that's not to say there aren't hierarchies when it comes to covens and things like that, but that is purely on knowledge base. It's not due to the person itself. Even those with vast knowledge makes them no more important than those new to the craft. But there's no discrimination in Wicca, regardless of race, sexual discrimination, etc. As I say, some are born into it and some are destined to find it. So that's how I perceive Wicca. Some are born into the families that have done it for years and years and years, generational Wiccans and witches, and some just happen to find it or destined to find it along their path at certain points in their life. But yeah, so those are the the 5 just common misconceptions that I've received myself, as I'm sure many probably witches or Wiccans have had. Is Lou there still? Is she?
Yeah, Lou's still there.
Yeah. Has Lou had any say anything random that's about witches that you can think of offhand that they've said that's stereotypical, I suppose?
I don't talk about it that much, really. Get the whole thing of like, Joe Gardner, the old nudists and whatnot, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
keep it pretty quiet.
Yeah, I think they are the ones that I've said are pretty much the standard ones. Like, do we believe in Satan? Do we worship the devil? All that sort of stuff. But yeah, so those are the misconceptions. So before I go on to the sigils, I just want to make sure. So this is, okay, Christina was the medium, she was saying. So I've been reading for a lot of people the last month, and now it seems it has stopped. I'm not feeling anything. I'm going through a lot of health issues now. Does that have something to do with it? Thank you. Before I finish that comment, my first point in my brain was thinking, do you have anything mental health problems going on, anything chaotic going on, or physical health problems even? Physical health and mental health can have blockages on our psychic senses, I suppose, or your mediumship abilities. So I would more than likely say it is to do with that. I think if you can, hopefully, I don't know what health problems are, treat those and heal those, then you may find it will start to come back. If you're into meditation, I would also ask your spirit guides as well, and just say if they can remove any blockages, any stagnant energies or anything like that. Just ask them to remove it, or help you remove, or show you how to remove it, and see how that helps. But I hope that helps. Damon, question, and this is going to sound so weird. Coming from you, Damon, we wouldn't expect anything less, right? Is there something within Wiccan that will help me to stop cramping? I have tried everything, but I'm suffering so goddamn bad, and it's well affecting my training. Cramping? Do you mean like muscle cramps, Damon?
Creatine, but that's not Wiccan.
Yeah, creatine.
I presume he means like muscular cramps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Creatine.
Creatine.
Yeah, creatine, not creosote, which I sometimes say.
Creosote.
Creatine's before.
There you
And the
go.
shape after he's worked out as well. Keep the protein up, because it's the protein that will repair it quicker as well.
Yeah,
Did you all hear that?
with the protein.
Yeah.
Hope to
Good thing
repair.
about Lou is she's actually a trained nutritionist.
Yeah, so that's handy. So there you go. I mean, if you want to go down like, say again, Lou.
They have a lavender bath as well to relax all the muscles more.
Lavender baths. Yeah. Do ice baths work for muscle relaxing, Lou? Because I know a lot of footballers do that, don't they?
I think, well, that does more for sort of like your internal system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets like the circulation going more. So yeah, that could help.
Yeah.
I prefer
So
lavender.
that's ice bath. If you can tolerate that.
Yeah. I wouldn't find that relaxing myself, jumping into an ice bath.
Yeah.
I don't think of anything worse. I hate the cold.
I mean, the only other thing, if you want to go down a herbal sort of route, is have a research on the certain herbs you can have as teas, but do check the contraindications on, make sure you're not allergic to any of them or anything like that, epilepsy and stuff like that, and find one that's like a muscle relaxant, and maybe before you do your training, just try and have a cup of that, maybe 30-45 minutes before your training, and see if that helps, if you want to go down like a natural route. But yeah. Let's have a look. Latin is probably the hardest language to learn. That, and what was is it Mandarin? I think it's supposed to be a really, really hard language to learn.
Mandarin,
there's one.
Latin, and desert Sanskrit is the hardest languages going.
Yeah. Bed knobs and broomsticks based on witch and Wiccan beliefs. Yeah, I haven't watched the film for a very, very long time, but there is witch references in Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, if I remember correctly. I'll have to rewatch it and get back to you. Taken from the Wikipedia about the inverted cross in Christianity, associated with the martyrdom of Peter the Apostle. Symbol originates from the Catholic tradition that when sentenced to death, Peter requested his cross to be upside down, and he felt unworthy of being. Yeah. Have you heard of, well, then you're going to have to pronounce that, Walpurgisnacht? Is that German? Walpurgisnacht.
Yeah, it's taken. It's taken from German, but then it's like basically being used as a Norse one. Whose comments that? Okay, but I can't really see. I'm blind. Yeah, that was their version. Their like festival, like we've had Beltane. That was the more Norse side of it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Norse.
I don't know, because Kate obviously lived in Germany for quite a bit. Is it something that they would celebrate there? Take it.
There you go.
I'm just squinting.
Marshall. Hi, Scarlett. I enjoy catching your chit chat. Thank you very much, Marshall. Jim Cahill. I hope I pronounced that right. Right. I haven't got catched up now. There's quite a few. But anyway, let me move forward because we'll forget. Sigils, topic number 2. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as I can because I'm conscious of the time. So, right, which is sigils? So what is a sigil and what are the benefits of sigil magic? So in both theory and practice, making sigils is one of the more straightforward forms of magic. But one has to know how to do it before one can call it a piece of cake, I suppose. So it sounds really complicated, but once you know how to do it, it's actually one of the easiest things, and you need very little other than pen, paper, intent. That's kind of it, really. Many people, especially those who refuse to believe there's more to the world than meets the eye, they think that magic is all about difficult spells and incantations. What those and many other people don't realise is that magic is defined and executed thanks to intent. That's why sigils are important. Sigils transcend language. Everything in magic, and I've said many, many times on the shows, it comes down to intent. Your intention is the most powerful thing that you can use. So anything you imagine, you can achieve. Of course, some dreams and desires are more manageable to manifest than others. That's why common sense and having a realistic outlook are vital when casting. It's like if I was to do a spell for Jason Momoa to come into my life, it's not going to happen. It's not realistic. I'm never going to bump into him. It's just not a logical thing to ask for. So being realistic in your spell casting and things like that is part and parcel of it. So our sigil is our will and intent condensed into one intricate symbol, basically. It's something we make ourselves to project and focus our intentions and desires. Sigils are usually meaningless to everyone aside from the one who created them and gave them meaning and purpose. So if I created my own sigil and showed you a picture of my sigil, you won't know what it means unless I told you what it meant. But it sounds complicated, but they're truly not. And actually, they're used every day without people knowing. So in fact, one entire field of marketing thrives precisely thanks to this branch of magic. Albeit you might not see it as a form of magic. Because what are brand logos if they aren't sigils? Somebody drew a symbol to represent one company's intent, and now when people see that particular symbol, they immediately think of the company in question. And some will desire their products purely for the symbol. If you think there are people out there who will purely buy designer Gucci bags purely because they're Gucci. So if you think brand logos are a type of form of that, somebody's created them, associated to a company with that intent, you know what that company represents and what they sell. Similar sort of, but of course, obviously there is more to it than just the logo, but the basics are kind of the same. So every sigil needs a wish or desire to be able to manifest your will. However, desire is a slippery slope. Many Wiccans have gone down the road of desire, only to end up smack bang in the middle of lust. And lust is your enemy. You can't manipulate forces bigger than you can even imagine. So life, destiny, and the universe. You can't manipulate it. You can encourage things to come to you quicker, or for opportunities to present themselves to you, but you can't completely alter it. But however, using sigils is an excellent way to accept that we are indeed the co-creators, so to speak, of our destinies. Sigils can help us focus on our desires, visualize them, and motivate us to go after what we want. So sigil making is all about visualizing a goal and manifesting our intent. So you don't need much to make a sigil. Pen and paper will do. Some do them on computer, whatever your preferred method. After all, like I said, it's all about the intent, not the materials in this case. Sigils are generally best made in a calm, peaceful environment in order to allow you to concentrate and focus what it is that you want from your sigil. Common sense is vital. You know, you can't become a best-selling author, for example, if you aren't ready to put in the work to actually write a book. Sigils will only plant and manifest your desires, and the universe can only give you the opportunities. You still need to do the legwork. So once you've decided what it is you want from the sigil, you need to write it down, but be very specific about your intentions. Don't make it too vague, but also don't make it too complex. For example, if you're making a protection sigil and you want a safe home and intent on getting the universe to help with that, so in magic, it's important to remember with sigils, make your sigils positive. Use present tense when you're writing to manifest your intent into the current reality. and keep it short but clear. So once you've chosen the right words to clarify your intent and you've written them down, we simplify the phrase. So I have drawn a little diagram thing to show you, like, break step by step on how to do it the witchy way. So you'd write your statement. So, for example, let me show you. I don't know if you can be able to see. Okay. So I wrote the statement. I am safe and protected. So I wrote it in the current tense, present tense. Then all the vowels are removed from the statement. So you remove all the vowels are gone. Then you remove all repeating consonants. So then your letters are getting less and less and less, and then you end up with like a bunch of letters down here. Okay. Then you go on to the alphabet A to Z chart form. So you've got 1 to 9. It's very hard doing it backwards on here. So you've got 1 to 9 and then all the letters underneath. So each letter is associated with a number. And you'd circle your letters in your chart. Then all the numbers that the letters are under, the numbers go in like a circle formation, but they're in different orders. You don't put them in the correct number order form. And then where the numbers are on the chart is so hard to explain, but you kind of line them up. You can add swirls, dots, and what have you, that's fine. And then obviously you remove the numbers and then you have just the sigil picture left. So if you can see, that's the one that I did at the bottom there. Some people will use just the letters, so you don't have to use the numbers at all. You can just use the letters that are left and add them on top of each other, make them all change the shapes and what have you. You can do that. Some will also use the witch's sigil wheel as an alternative method, and it consists of 3 concentric circles inside each other that contain all the letters of the alphabet. So say you happen to write out the number chart and you just create your lines up like that to what the letters are in your what's left. There are numerous ways you can do it. The number one that I've showed you with the numbers in the chart is probably the slightly more complicated way. If you go onto Google Images, you can get the witch's sigil wheel, print it off, and that can just give you where you can line it up and what have you, and give you or you can just use the letters that are left and create your own symbol altogether. But once you've created your sigil, it must be charged to do what you need to want it to do. So to raise energy, you could have whatever's going to raise your energy, raise your heartbeat. So you can have happy music playing, you can hum to yourself, you can sing to yourself, you can dance around the room, do whatever, just anything to raise the vibrations, raise your energy, because you want it full of positive intent. If you're not one like me, you don't like physical exercise of any shape or form, just think of a happy memory. Think of something happy that puts your mind into that positive place. Think of a happy song that you associate with happiness, and then charge that energy in yourself. Clear your mind, visualize your intent and your new sigil in your mind, and blend the two together in your head to charge. So you imagine it like a ball of light around your new sigil symbol and just that energy emitting from it. So after you've charged it, you need to activate it. And you can either visualize destroying the symbol or ritualistically incorporate the elements. So some people will do it on a bay leaf, draw their symbol on a bay leaf and burn it. Some people will let it go down a stream. Some people will, because bearing in mind, if anyone finds it, they won't know what it means anyway, because it's personal that you've created. You could leave it out in the air to get the wind blowing through it. There's numerous ways you can incorporate all the elements into it. But yeah, that's the basics of sigil work that we do. There's probably other theories, ways to do it. Ben, you with sigils and seals and all that sort of stuff, that's your forte.
I'm going to show you guys a rare ass clip. This is completely and utterly rare because I am showing you inside the leather-bound book.
Yes, go for it.
So this is the same as what Scarlett's just said. It's obviously an intent onto yourself of how you do a seal. Now, I've just done a Wiccan seal. Let me show you a cultology, what's known as a cultology lock. What's known as a grimoire lock. So I've got to try and figure out how to spin my camera around again. So you have to bear with me a sec, guys. Back on it. That's the one. Right, so you can see this. So just being my light here. So this here is what's known as a complex lock seal.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to put the phone there. So what you can see there is different sigils and everything else locked in. So this is like I say, this is what's known as a grimoire lock.
Yeah.
So
we're very blessed to see this, guys. I'm telling you now, that's it's quite personal to you as well, isn't it? So we are very lucky to see that.
That one is, that locks in. I can't show you the other side, unfortunately, because the book's there. But yeah, this is what a complex one looks like.
Fantastic.
So this is how symbology and sigils completely swap from different lines. Sorry, you just have to step my feet from while I flip the camera back. Because I'm not good with technology.
No, I'm not. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was nice to see. Thank you. So how I don't know if I'm allowed to ask, but how would you create them in a similar way, or is it something that's the symbol that's like the universe with the cultology and
no,
yourself?
You create them by doing what's known as I can't think of the bloody. I'm trying to think of not the Latin name, but a different name for it in different languages. Well, basically, you do a whole listing of yourself. So you find out who you're sworn by, what you rise as, so your symbol, how it affects everything else, what your element draw is, who would be looking after you, who wouldn't be looking after you, kind of thing. Yeah. So it gets really complex. Very complex and much more detailed as well, isn't it? Yeah. But no, thank you for sharing that with us. That was fascinating to see. But yeah, like I said, have a go, guys. If you want to have a go, you can. I mean, people write them in doorways, in the air, like in the front door to protect their home. Some people will do it, when they've got out the shower and all the mist is on the mirrors or the shower screen. They'll do it in there as well to also protect, because when it dries, it's hidden, although it's still there until more steam goes on. So that's quite a magical way to do it. There's numerous ways you can incorporate it into your life. I've seen people put them underneath plant pots as well to encourage the growth of plants. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. Maybe that's what I need to do in my garden. But yeah, it's you can bring it into your life in numerous ways. But let me know if anybody tries it. I will quickly say one thing though, guys, with that image, don't pause it and try and recreate it, because it will just go terribly wrong for you. Yes, I mean, nobody should try to recreate. When I said earlier, each symbol or sigil only really has meaning to the person who created it in the first place. Anyone else reading it wouldn't be able to make sense of it anyway, so it'd be dangerous to use something that you wouldn't understand or couldn't translate yourself. So create your own. It's fun to create your own as well. There was a mass, as Damon put up a comment, there was a mass a while ago, with people doing it on TikTok. It became this little bit of information that everyone found, and that's all doing it. It was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, my good friends, bless them, they will know I absolutely love TikTok, and it can be a very educational place. However, when it comes to things to do with the craft, I have seen some very dangerous things that people have done, and then people are commenting, going, and how do I do this in detail, and what do I need? I'm thinking, you're potentially putting yourself in a lot of risk doing that. So please, 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 although TikTok is a big thing at the minute and it is fantastic in entertainment, please make sure if you do see anything in there to do with witchcraft or demonology or anything like that, please make sure you do your research prior to doing what they've told you, because you could. The craft is brilliant. However, if you do things with the wrong intent, or you're unsure how you're doing it, or you're doing it incorrectly,
You could be opening yourself up to something completely different. So just be careful. Cross-reference, there's nothing wrong with cross-reference. When I'm doing research myself, I will read one website or read a book, but I will cross-reference to make sure I'm reading the same thing in numerous places, not just in one place, just to make sure it's factual really as well. I think the word Bible is just seen as a central book for a subject. Yeah, I do think. Damon says he takes 5 milligrams of creatine every day and it's not helping.
More stretches as well.
More stretches.
Yeah.
Right, okay. In Germany, Hexenacht, forgive my translation or pronunciation of German. The night from the 30th of April to the 1st of May is the night when witches are reputed to hold a large celebration on the Brocken and await the arrival of spring. I mean, we've just had May the 1st, and we obviously celebrate it as Beltane in the Northern Hemisphere. Those who are in the Southern Hemisphere are actually celebrating Samhain at the minute. So there's all around the world there, depending on what hemisphere they're from as well, they'll be doing different things. Fort, is that my son? Fort, why are you watching this? You're Jaden. That's you little monkey. Thank you, Fleur. It is in a Christian chapel too, but it's in a closed off room. I don't know if I'm allowed to put this comment up, Damon. I did one the other day. My manhood disappeared, so I won't be doing it again. Is that the ice bath, I presume, Damon, that you're referring to? Jason Momoa is my man crush. Bloke is so ripped. He is very. Wandering Willow, put sigil, it's just like your signature. That's right. Damon's put you can't change your destiny. Absolutely. I just remembered the witches in Destiny. I suppose, I mean, I heard something the other day and it was fascinating actually. I was doing an event on Monday with Wandering Willow actually, and somebody came up to us and he was, I don't think he was a Christian, but he was, he studied religion, all religion. He was currently studying the Quran and stuff like that, Muslim religion. And he said a very good point. He said, if you think a mountain is religion or spirituality or whatever, and it's spirit, the god or goddesses or the spiritual being at the top, and we're all on the same mountain, but we're all going up different paths, and everybody is arguing that I'm on the right path. No, I'm on the right path. However, we're all heading to the same destination. We all want the same thing. And I thought that was a really good way to put it, actually. No matter what path you're on, we're all going to end up, the same place anyway. So there's no point arguing over it. Is the male form of witch also a witch? I would say yes, personally. I think it was more warlock. Ben might want to correct me on this one. Was that not from all the films and things like that where the terminology come from? And wasn't it more of a derogatory term originally?
Warlock was originally a derogative term. However, what is very little known is that if you're a warlock, you are a necromancer.
Okay. So
bringing back the dead. Necromancy is against every single religious belief going.
Yeah.
It's a barbaric ability.
Yeah.
To show the difference, a lot of people go, talking to the dead and mediums are necromancing. They are to a point, but however, to be a warlock, you'd have to be necromancing the same as like, for example, the book Frankenstein. That's necromancy. Yeah.
See, necromancy is something trying to bring something back to life, or it's. So I think it was.
Order.
Yeah, but I think things like Harry Potter and things like that brought out like the wizard witch term for male, female. But if you're a witch, you're a witch, regardless of, there's no gender for the term witch, in personal opinion. Yvonne's put, I would never use anything like that without full understanding and guidance. Absolutely. But yes, please just be careful of things that you see on the internet. Not everything is factual. Always do your research. Do extensive research if you want to try something out in the craft or anything that you're studying, cultology or anything like that. And you can always ask one of us guys as well.
Yep.
Ben, Lou, Damon, myself. We'll always be willing to help you. If you do see something you want to try and you're not sure if it's the correct way to do it or method to do it, give the page a message and one of us will help you and let you know if it's either fact or fiction. But yeah, I think I've covered all the questions. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Ben?
No, other than it's been nice actually coming on for once.
Yeah, it's been good. It has been good. I'm normally full of beans on this show, but I've said I'll be on best behaviour tonight, and I'm knackered, absolutely knackered. Yeah, so my brain's not been braining as it should be. But thank you everybody for watching. If you're watching on playback or repeats or whatever it's called in technology terms these days, thank you for watching again. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend ahead of you. Bank holiday weekend, whatever you're doing, have a great weekend. And I will see you all in 2 weeks' time. What shows have we got upcoming, Ben? Friday
we have the main show on. I'm not sure what subject we're going to be talking about yet.
Yeah.
Then Sunday's show is that short interview with Kate, is it not? Yes, Kate is going to be interviewing Lou.
Oh, good one.
So that's it. Until next week. Your definition, isn't it? Yeah, my brain just got that divination.
It's your brain not braining either.
On that.
I think I'm going to do automatic writing.
Lou's covering automatic writing.
That's an interesting subject, that one.
And to see how many people do actually watch this back, I will be dropping a video at some point during the week.
Oh, okay. There you go. You've all been warned. Fantastic. But thank you all. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody, over the bank holiday. Blessings to you all. Thank you very much. Lots of love.
Take it easy, guys.